game takes place in the year 2020. We're a member of Delta Force, obviously a very elite special forces team, and we've been called in to investigate an asteroid that's crashed somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Unfortunately, we weren't first on the scene. Some North Koreans have gotten there first, and they're trying to hold the area against all incoming. So, as we leave our craft, we'll look at the kind of the style of the vehicles we have in the game, and some of the particles and stuff like that. This is a vehicle we'll be able to fly in the game, obviously. And it's a heavily armored VTOL with, good offensive weapons. So, as Delta Force team, we have several good tools at our convenience. First, we have a nano suit that we can change. We can direct energy to different parts of the suit to give us different abilities. I can go to speed, which will make me faster. I can go to strength, which will give me no recoil when I use a weapon, or I can use melee fist to hurt enemies and pick up more things. Or I can use armor to give myself healing and to give me more defense if I'm so inclined. Our weapon is also customizable. I can add a silencer, I can add flashlights, I can add a grenade launcher, I can add different types of ammo. In this case, I'm going to add a tac bullet, which is basically a tranquilizer bullet, and we're going to try to go non-violent against the enemy. So I'm going to sneak up here. See what we see, and I see an enemy there. So I'm going to go to my special Delta Force binoculars, which helps me basically track enemies and put them onto my tactical radar. It helps me locate enemies, okay? So we see two guys here approaching. I'm going to go to my tranquilizer gun, and I'm going to tag each of them with a dart. And now, at my convenience, I can put them to sleep, which is what I'm going to do now, basically. And now, I can change to real bullets and simply walk up. And I can take them out without basically being caught or without any risk. So, and I can pick up their weapon too if I so choose. Obviously, we have lots of good vehicle use, carrying on the traditions of Far Cry. Here's a cool Jeep. Component damage, I just rolled down a hill. Some bad driving on my part. So what I'll do is I'll pop up and I'll use the minigun against anybody that comes in.
Now they're actually speaking Korean in this.
They're actually speaking North Korean in this, which is it's a dialect. And yeah, we wrote the lines and we had them all translated because we want to have a real immersive feel instead of having a bunch of guys speaking weird broken English. So they'll speak broken English if they recognize us as Americans, and then they try to give us commands. But otherwise they won't. Okay, so we got a little crew here. Since I'm going to try to throw a grenade in there so I can take them out. One feature obviously we're proud of is everything that looks destructible is. In fact, even the trees can be destroyed. You can even make chop wood if you want to for a fireplace, basically, if you're so inclined. So I'm going to pull back a little bit. It's getting a little hairy. I'm going to switch to my SCAR, and I'm going to give myself a grenade launcher, which will be very handy in this thing. And I'm going to take my silencer off because I need more velocity, and I'm actually going to switch to incendiary bullets, which are basically bullets filled with a little bit of napalm, so a little bit of extra warmth. Okay, so we see a guy here, and we see the grenade launcher is particularly effective against enemies that are As you can see, there's real clouds in the backdrop. This is all real geometry the players will eventually be able to walk into, so we don't use skyboxes, we don't use fake backdrops. All the bushes interact as you walk through them. They make noise the enemy can hear. So you need to be careful. That's why I'm using the road, because I'm actually more quiet on the road even though I'm out in the open. Everything is about tactical choices. And they also throw grenades and they use the right weapons when appropriate.
Now, can you change the difficulty on this?
Absolutely. At the beginning of the game, you'll be able to set from a novice difficulty all the way to something we like to call realistic, which is basically the enemies do the same damage. As you can see, this guy's ducking behind a log, and that log fell down. So they dynamically use what they're given.
Now, right here, you're up against a whole bunch of North Koreans. Are you alone, or do you have a team behind you?
Some missions we will have a couple of squad mates with us, basically. They'll go along and they'll help us, and they'll assist in certain types of missions because they're all specialists in certain things. So that's Crysis.
Now, what about cooperative play, or not? Well, is there cooperative play mode?
No, we'll have no co-op play.
And what about skirmishes, battling your friends online?
We're going to have a very strong multiplayer component to the game that I hope everybody will be happy with.
Now, on every new game, do the enemies spawn in sort of a different place, or they stay in the same place?
No, they're placed realistically, and they're given jobs to do. Like, for instance, those guys are to watch out for anybody that comes, and every now and then the commander will come over and talk to him and check on him, and he'll salute, and the guy may smoke, the guy may yawn, he may do stuff, basically, but he'll behave naturally. Some guys may be fixing things, some guys may be setting up a mounted gun, but everybody will have natural behaviors that match what's going on.
Will you see enemy soldiers sleeping?
We may see some guys sleeping. There may be an enemy camp or two in the game, so I won't tell anything specific, but there may be some guys sleeping, and we can put them to sleep too. So we'll definitely we can make them sleep.